Hello, everyone, and welcome to Commanding Your Life. This is your host, Beverly Jones. I am an author, international speaker, certified seminar leader, and practitioner for the Silver Method and the Prime Directive and other techniques. On this show, I talk about how to expand your world of thought, exploring the world of positive thinking, the law of attraction, and consciousness from many points of view. I intend to share with you information that will enlighten and empower you in your life. I'm here to encourage you to think in the positive and show that miracles can happen. I truly believe that you've been given the power of the word and thought to create the life that you desire. This is a safe haven for discussion. We will entertain questions and ideas that will really open up your world. The thoughts and words and ideas expressed on the show are those of my guests or myself. We do not represent any organization. So please call in at 347-838-8437 when we are on air to ask any questions, or email me at Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. That's Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. This information is in the description of this episode online. So again, welcome and thank you for spending your time with us, and let's start our program. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope your day is fantastic. It has been raining like crazy here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, actually all here in the south, and there have been lots of storms and tornadoes and that type of thing, and I want to say that I'm sending out prayers to all of those who have experienced some adversity this past week, and I pray that things are going better for you and that you will be blessed this week. So, yes, it is wonderful to be with you and to have this conversation today. And as always, since I've started this, is that we're going to start this day and this week with just setting our intention. Setting our intention of how we want this week to look. That which you concentrate on most of the time is what will show up in your life. It may not show up today or tomorrow, but it will show up. And so I want you to take a deep breath. If you're driving or operating machinery, I want you to do this at a time when you can take that time. But even then, you can take deep breaths in and out. Another deep breath in and out. And just relax. Relieve that tension that is in your neck. And in your shoulder, just relax your shoulders and your back. You never realize how much you actually tense up your shoulders and your neck. Actually, when you're tensing up your neck, you're also tensing up the back of your head, and it can tend to give you a headache. So you want to just relax. And it is our intention this week to have a very good week. What is it that you want to accomplish this week? You command that you know how this is done. As we talk to our subconscious mind, letting it know that these are the things that we want done. I command that I know how I have a very productive week. and it is so now. I command that I have the ability to make very good decisions this week, that the answers will come easily and effortlessly. I command that I am a blessing to each and every person that I meet this week. And it is so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Setting intentions and asking that it is done. And I know for many of you, setting the intention in this way is just a little bit different from where you have been in a state of, I want to call it begging, right? I had a conversation and several conversations this week and last week, and the topic of, do I deserve what I have, keeps coming up in those conversations. The topic of, well, you know, am I able to get what I desire? Over and over again, and many, many times, I've had the discussion about being worthy of receiving. And what I'm going to say is that we've all been told that we are worthy, but it's very hard for us to think about that when we're told that we're unworthy and that we are sinners and that we are meeting the mark. And the definition of sin is not meeting the mark. So if you set a goal for yourself and you don't do what is necessary or you don't do the things to do that goal, the goal is a reasonable goal, you know? It's like, I'm going to walk 10 miles this week, all right? So if I want to walk 10 miles this week, I can do 2 miles a day, all right, in order to do 10 miles this week. But if I sit down and not do the 2 miles or not make up for it, I miss the mark, and therefore I sin against myself. Different kind of definition, yeah? Yeah. You are worthy. If you are of the Christian faith, you know that Christ died for your sins, and therefore you are worthy. You are a magnificent being of the Creator of the universe. That being did not make any mistakes. And so therefore you're not a mistake, and you are worthy, okay, to receive your desires. So when you set your intention in the week, and you use the prime directive, I command that I know. I command that I have. I command I know why or who or what I need to do. You are talking directly to the subconscious mind, which talks directly to the Creator of the universe. It makes your subconscious makes the request and finds out what is needed for you to do to be successful. Or your subconscious mind will prompt you to do the things that are necessary to make your desires come true. But if your subconscious mind continues to tell you you're not worthy, you're not able, then it makes sure that you aren't. And you don't have the desire to go walk that 10 miles this week. Or you're good for the first 6 and then, something comes up and the feeling inside of you makes you not do that walk. And you say, I've got to push through. Well, talk to your subconscious and say, subconscious, stop stopping me. Stop making what my beliefs are true. Now, today I said we were going to talk about Murphy's Law, right? Murphy's Law and transcending Murphy's Law. And just what I've just talked about is a method, right, of helping you take care of that. So the definition of Murphy's Law is if something can go wrong, it will. All right, and so I want you to be able to rise above this axiom called Murphy's Law. Because really, does it really exist? I mean, this is not really part of the universe. So where did this thing called Murphy's Law come from? Well, its identity is technically, they say, it's unknown. The saying was first used during the 1940s, and they believe it started, with the members of the armed forces, right? And this thing, Murphy's Law, is pessimistic, right? If something can go wrong, it will, all right? So I did a little research online, right, my favorite place, the great Internet, and, there's Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and there's a number of online encyclopedias. And so what it came down to is that there was a gentleman by the name of Edward A. Murphy, Jr., and he was an engineer on the rocket sled experiments that were done with the Air Force in 1949, and it was to test human acceleration tolerances. So it's got some technical terms in it, but an experiment involved a set of sensors that were mounted on different parts of a person's body that was in the sled. And there were two ways which that sensor could be glued, and what happened is somebody installed all 16 of them the wrong way. And so what they're saying is that Murphy then made the original form of this pronouncement, which the test subject, and he said he was John Stapp, quoted at a news conference a few days later. And then that particular term spread to various technical cultures, all right? So this was mostly related to doing testing, all these different kinds of things. And so anything that can go wrong will. And then another time it's called Finagle's Law of Technology. And again, it's dealing with if anything can go wrong, it will, or the perversity of the universe tends toward the maximum. So the idea being is that people begin to expect things to go wrong. And I know you've heard people, if it could go wrong, it would. Or, we got to be prepared just in case. Because Murphy's Law. You've heard it over and over again. And each time I've heard that statement, I thought about, well, am I speaking adversity into this situation? Am I, with my thoughts, expecting things to go bad? And so what I've done in the past is when something didn't go exactly right, and I know that I had some expectations in the beginning, and as much as I would say, I want this to happen, somewhere in the back of my mind, I felt something would not, or something would change. I would go back and look at my behavior in the situation. It's a relationship, looking back on what I said, not in a critical way, but in a way like scientific research, yes, in a way that says, what did I say? What did I do that may have contributed based on my feelings. Now, I'm going to say this right up front. There are things we have no control over, especially in a relationship. We have no control over what the other person or people are going to do. We only have control over ourselves. And so I looked and I would see that some things, some of my actions were predicated on my beliefs. And this is when things go right and when things didn't go quite the way I wanted them to be. I looked to see what my actions said to the other person. Or because I thought of something or a certain way, I may have said words in a certain way, right? And then that person reacted based on what I said. I don't beat myself up about it, and I know many people will beat themselves up. Well, I should have said this, or if I hadn't done that, and it's not necessarily so. Things may turn out just a slightly bit different, but you have no control over someone else. People who are in sales, they always go over that the sales process, especially if it's a long process, to see if they lost the account, what did they do that may have helped them get the account, or look at who the person went with and see what their product or service is, and what was it in that product and service that particular customer went after. And it's not necessarily that, okay, this product or services that they went for, we don't offer that. And it's not part of our core package. And so we're not going to win every sale, but we just want to make sure we did everything that was possible for us that would give the client, the customer, the opportunity to choose us. And if there was something that we didn't do, how can we make it better? So that's done in sales all the time. But this thing, anything can go that wrong. It's mainly in looking at processes and experiments and those types of things. It's not looking at life every day as you do things. But many people live by Murphy's Law. They're always prepared for the worst. Yes, be prepared for if you have, a spare tire in the car and a jack just in case you hit a nail or a tire blows out. That's mechanical, right? Yes, you may keep things around the house just in case you have company. Right, you keep Band-Aids and antiseptic and those kinds around the house for those kinds of things. But when you're looking at desires that you are asking for, be prepared to receive. If you're prepared for not receiving or prepared for not getting, the thing is that it won't show up. Or if it does, it doesn't show up in the way that you want. Your mind functions on two levels. The conscious, which is self-aware, and your subconscious, which is creative. Your subconscious connects with this supercomputer that you have, this mind, and it contains all the mental images and emotional states which you have experienced during your entire life. It contains volumes and volumes of information and has creative power. Now, when we're dealing with this thing and thinking that something's going to go wrong, this is your conscious mind talking to you, and it is very limited, and it is a restricted part of your personality. And it is looking at black or white, yes or no. It's going to work. No, it's not going to work. If it could fail, it's going to fail. That is your conscious, doubtful, beta, fast-moving mind that is talking to you. And somebody said, but from experience, this has always happened. And I said, why not? So can it change? If it's always happened, why is it always happening? Is in your mind that, it's always happened that way, so it's going to continue to happen that way? Let me tell you. Your subconscious mind supplies your conscious mind with the information it needs when asked and required. So your conscious mind is constantly feeding the subconscious, and if you're feeding your subconscious mind with doubt, then your subconscious mind says, I can't do that. That's not going to come in my life. And, what's coming to mind right now is this is hard, and it's not hard. And let me tell you, it took a while for me to start making the thought changes in my life that helps things show up. And even I, at times, have my doubts, and I have to go stop and issue a command, go into meditative state, and say, look, this is how it is. Not that other thing that my conscious mind keeps coming up with. Let's talk about how your subconscious can give you information, just like I talked about last week. I was helping a friend move, and she had purchased a pneumatic jack, I think, to help raise the rental trailer when we were needing to unload it. So after the movers had loaded the trailer, we discovered the trailer was developing a flat tire. So we took it back to the store to have it checked. But because he didn't have the equipment, we were going to have to leave that trailer. And so we were looking for the handle to this new jack that we had gotten to raise the trailer off the hitch, and couldn't find it. Now, that jack and that handle had been together. So the owner got the handle from a handle from his shop, and it lifted the trailer, and we left for lunch. So I began to think about where the handle could have gone, and guess what? I started down the bunny trail of backtracking and using logic to try to figure out where this handle was, right? I knew they had been together. And so I went, okay, because I was panicking, right? So I said, stop. I took several breaths, and then I mentally asked for help in finding the handle. I command that I know, or I command that I have the handle now. So at lunch, and a little while later, I got the idea of checking the back of the trailer. Now, you see, because the pneumatic jack was in the back of my truck, and so I just said, nah, it can't be in the back of the trailer. And then we went back to where we had, loaded up the trailer in case it had fallen on the ground. But I kept saying, look in the back of the trailer, and I dismissed it. Once we got back into the rental location, the thought entered again. Now, this was the third time. So I took action this time. I got the key for the lock that was locking up the trailer itself, the slide-down door, and handed it to my friend. And she started laughing. She said, you got to download. I said, oh, no, I had it before, but I was ignoring it because I said, my conscious mind said it couldn't be there. We opened the door. She spotted the handle immediately sitting in a box, right? 3 times I was told to check the back of the trailer, and I said it couldn't be there. Your subconscious mind will talk to you and tell you what you need to know. It will tell you when you ask. I was watching a movie on Saturday. I had to turn the TV on, And I saw the scene, and I knew the movie, and I couldn't remember the name of it. And it happened to be, and I just couldn't remember, and I issued the command. I couldn't remember the guy's name. And there are times when you know that there is there, but it's not quite. And the actor's name was from the 1940s and 50s. And so what I turned around and did, it didn't come to me right away, like some things. But I got the urge to talk about it to my daughter. And she said, oh, the movie, it's called To Kill a Mockingbird. And I went, yes. So sometimes you are prompted to do something else versus it coming to you directly. You know how I talk about if it's in your memory, it'll come to you directly. Well, when she said To Kill a Mockingbird, I knew that was not something that I was paying, that one was really in my deep recesses. But I was prompted to talk to her about it. Now you're saying, well, wouldn't you talk to your daughter anyway? No, not necessarily about this one thing, right? And the actor's name was Gregory Peck, right? And again, once I got the name of the movie, then I went online and found out the actor's name. And again, it was not one for me. But what I'm saying is I asked to get the information. And my subconscious developed a way to say, here, ask this person or talk to this person about it. And I got that piece, and then I got the name of the actor. Now, it may not seem like a very important thing, right? The movie really wasn't important. I mean, it was just flashing by on the TV, and it wasn't something I really needed to know, but I did ask, and I got my answer within 24 hours. This is a way of looking at your subconscious and also looking at a way to say what will go wrong doesn't necessarily go wrong, right? Build your points of reference today. What are some examples of things that have happened in your life that have actually come true? And you can pinpoint them to the times that you asked or you talked about it. These become your points of reference so that you can make the decision, so that you can get the answers, know how to ask. You know, I have my way of asking. You develop your way of asking. You can use the technique that I teach, or you can use a variation. This is up to you. I want to thank you so much for being with me today, and I am looking forward to talking to you soon in the future. And have a great week, and I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day yesterday. Thank you for listening today. I hope that what we shared with you today is a blessing to you. Don't forget, you can receive a free Silver Ultramite EFT system mini course valued at over $100 and start using the Silver Ultramite system today to help you make the rest of your life the best of your life. To get the free course, go to silverfox.com. That's silverfox.silva, S-I-L-V-A, courses.com. Click on the newsletter link on the left side of the page and follow the instructions. If you have any suggestions for the show, send them to me at Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. And don't forget, I have a free twice-monthly Commanding Your Life telecircle on the first and third Thursdays. You get the opportunity to learn more, to ask questions, and to become engaged. So More information on the circle can be found at meetup, MEETUP, commandingyourlife.com. That's meetup.commandingyourlife.com. Or go to commandingyourlife.com and look at events. Join me next week for another exciting and interesting topic or guest. Matthew 9:29 says, "As you have believed, let it be done to you." And it is so.